Hello, beautiful Golden Anchor quilting community. I don't know if this is round 2 or 3. We're just working through the technology, but we are so thankful that you're here for whatever round this is that we have gone live. My name is Louisa Grindle. I own Golden Anchor Quilting here in Claremont, New Hampshire with my husband, Darren Grindle. We are a husband and wife team helped by many community members and family members as well. We have fabric, thread, notions, patterns, inspiration, and we have classes and events, and we have long arm services and sewing machine service and repair. We love to see everybody come in and say hi, and our core value around what we like to feel like when people come here is that you're family and that you're welcome and that you're cared about and that you're important. And that's why we say Golden Anchor Quilting, where community is the fabric of our dreams. While you're here, remember to like our videos, share our videos, and subscribe to our small channel. It helps us grow and get the... We ask a question every week that allows in the tutorial on this week's broadcast. This week we're asking, what's your favorite part of our weekly broadcast? We go live every week and we talk about shop news and we talk about who we are and what we do, and we share classes and upcoming events and new fabrics and new things that are going on. And then we do a small tutorial, we share a quilt of the week, we draw some prizes. And we're just kind of wondering, what's your favorite part of what we do every week? What keeps you coming back if you're coming back? And what will keep you coming back if this is your first time watching with us? By answering that question in the chat, you'll get a chance to win the sample that we make on tonight's show. And I see that some people have already started to answer, and that's awesome. Oh, hi, Mom. Mom usually says, so we're going to figure out like a Carol Burnett thing with that. Definitely, definitely. So let's talk about what's new in the shop. We have these 1/8-inch stripes that came in, and I think maybe the overhead's going to be the best way to share these. They are teeny tiny little stripes that have tone on tone. So the pink is actually a lighter pink background in between. Same thing with the green, the taupe, the gray, and the black and gray. They're great blenders. I think they're fabulous bindings. Striped bindings and pattern bindings are my absolute favorite way to finish quilts. I think it gives the edge of the quilt a little bit of movement and character. So I really, really love stripes in general for binding. But these ones are so delicate and dainty that I think they'll be really fun. So we're putting these into the blender wall, and we're going to be getting some more colors over the course of time so that we expand on this line. We also, every week, share some of our Sassy Sunflower half-pack quilt bundles. And this week, I asked Aunt Ellen to pick some that she wanted to share, and she thought some holiday and seasonal themed packages would be great to share. Sassy Sunflower half-pack quilts is a program that we're an exclusive dealer for 50 miles around. I see Bev just said hi. Hi, Bev. Thank you. Bev is definitely one of the people who watches frequently. And Shelly, hi Shelly. We're so thankful that you watch from Free Spirit and Jaftex and all the companies you support. Thank you so much. So Aunt Ellen picked this sort of Christmas themed one with some fun presents, some black snowflakes, black and white snowflakes, the Christmas lights, a plaid and a red, and then also the ski hill. So this fabric has skis and little spears and sweaters and mittens and candy canes. Just really fun. This half-pack quilts program is 5 half-yard cuts that we curate from fabrics in our shop, and those go into a bundle, and then you get to pick one of 9 quilt patterns or a tote bag pattern, and the whole bundle with the pattern of your choice is $37.99. The quilts work up to about 50 by 60 to 55 by 65, so they're really nice size throws, and they're pretty quick and easy to put together. Tina, I just met with Tina this past Monday about our Quilts of Valor event that we'll talk about a little bit later. And she said she tried the tippy toe and it's now one of her favorite bag patterns. So thank you for sharing that feedback, Tina. We really do love our Sassy Sunflower half-pack quilts program. And Aunt Ellen also wanted us to show this 3-yard bundle that we have that features the gondola pattern from the ski hill line, the skis, and then coordinating snowflakes. So we have some 3-yard bundles and half packs in that line but not on the bolt. The flat folds that we had of this are gone. So that's all we have left of the Ski Hill line is the 3-yard bundle and the Sassy Sunflower half packs. We have a new pattern in shop, which is For the Love of Cake, which that might, Darren's in the back saying, cake? I love cake. For the Love of Cake is Recipes from My Heart. It's this adorable, should we switch over to the little one maybe? And show here. A little lower. Okay. How's that? Perfect. So For the Love of Cake is this sweet pattern that we've brought in that we're hoping to have a class for probably in January, to be able to get that ready for the Valentine's holiday coming up in February. We just thought it was so sweet and delicate. It also would go really well with those new Lori Holt fabrics that we showed you last week. I think this would work up really beautifully in the Lori Holt Bee in My Bonnet patterns that we've brought in lately. So definitely something to check out. It finishes at, hold please, 22 by 26. It's a little project. Yeah, so it's a little mini, like a wall hanging table topper kind of thing. And I think For the Love of Cake needs to be my next catchphrase. And then we also wanted to remind people, I probably won't be able to show the whole thing, but we do have the latest edition of Quilter's World. We are now a shop that carries each issue of Quilter's World as it comes out. So you can come get your Quilter's World here at Golden Acre. And we're featured in the back as a shop. So that's really exciting. It's our first issue that we've been in the background. So we can go back up here, I think. We have, oh, we did not bring it all back here, but we did bring a few back here to show everyone. We have a table up front with kits, and they are kits that we have either 1, 2, or 3 left. So 3 or less left. And there's some really cute ones, and maybe overhead would be good. What else we got going on in the chat? Enjoy the mini projects, the new fabrics. Awesome. Mini projects. So a lot of feedback that people are enjoying the tutorials. We'll have to make sure we can get good cameras going for those. So this is one of the kits that we have on our sale table. Our sale table is 30% off. So this is a Riley Blake. It's called Sweater Season, and you can see all of the cuteness going on there. Finished size is 75 by 92. And that's a more close-up of the pattern. It's so cute. It's a heavy kit. It's a big, heavy kit. And regular price, it was $159.95. So that's on the table for 30% off. And then we have this Moda Happiness Blooms. It's a Deb screen, and it is 58 by 70 when it finishes. It was originally $149.95. That's 30% off. This has these beautiful soft colors, and then it has some panels in it that says "My family is my treasure." Family always forever. No matter what. I couldn't read it because it's small. Family is a little world. Hold on. I got to take my glasses off. Created by love. Family is a little world created by love. I have officially hit that old that I have to take my glasses off to read up close. And then this one is knitted row along, sort of a spring look. I think this looks more like a cross stitch pattern almost than a knit pattern, but that's probably because I don't do that kind of knitting where you have to change colors all the time. Nope, not going to do it. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But there are people in my family who do knitting like that. Kudos to them. This one finishes at 79 by 101. It's a big one. It's beautiful. And it was originally $169.95, and that's 30% off. These should also be on our website. I'll try to check right after the broadcast and make sure in case folks from farther away wanted to take advantage of those sales. And the if you wanted to do that, I don't think I put the 30% off in the computer yet, so you'd have to give us a call. Anyway, so don't worry about whether they're on the website. Just call if one of these is something that you would like to have in your stash. Okay, and I think that's it for, oh, yes. So I've been reminded to remind everybody about what the question of the week is. This week's question is, what's your favorite part of our broadcast? Is it when we share new fabrics in the shop, things like this, the kits that are on sale, or when we talk about classes and events, when we do our small tutorial, or when we do our prize drawing for our quilt of the week? And that's how you can enter to win this week's sample. All right, we're ready to talk about classes. I think we should stick with overhead because I'm going to show the little samples, but I'll put these back here. Speaking of samples, behind me, there are some small samples from the front of the shop, and we are going to be having a sample sale in December. So if you don't have time to finish a project and want something, come on in and check out what we've got for samples. All right, for classes coming up, Thursday is Open Sew, and that's when you can come and work on a project of your choosing. We're starting to get a pretty wonderful group of folks coming in on a regular basis. It's becoming very social and very supportive and building friendships. I absolutely love it. And that's Thursday. It's 10 to 5. We have our pillowcase club. We do this every month. This month I'm excited. We have a youngster, a high school student coming, and he is one of our core people's grandsons. So he's going to come in. He's made his first quilt, but now he's going to make a matching pillowcase. And we won't mention names because it's for Christmas. So don't tell. But we're excited because there'll be some young folks here in the shop for the Pillowcase Club. And that is on Sunday, November 24th at 10:30. And then again on Thursday, December 5th at 5:30. We have that coming up. And we make these flanged pillowcases with French seams. They finish beautifully. They make wonderful gifts. They take 3/4 of a yard of the cuff fabric, 2.5 inches of the flange fabric, and 1/3 of a yard of the cuff versus the body. And that's it for the pillowcases. We have the crisscross apron class, which is this pattern. Hold on. We had it. I know we did. I know we brought it in, Aunt Ellen. I know. Okay. So the crisscross apron pattern, this is going to be a special version of this class. Lynn is teaching it for us. She teaches all of them, but the shop is closed that day. She's going to be here teaching with just the folks who sign up for the apron class. So you get the crisscross apron class, and you get almost like a private viewing of the shop while you're here for the class. And the crisscross apron is what I'm wearing, and it doesn't pull on your neck. It crosses over in the back. I don't know if you can see that through my sweater, but and it's reversible, so it has pockets on the front, pockets on the back. Take the yard of each of the fabrics and a little bit extra if you want to line the pockets. And you could make a Christmas apron or a Thanksgiving apron. Might be well, the 24th would work for a Thanksgiving apron or for next year, right? No, we don't have turkey fabric, but we have fall fabric that would work. And then we also now have in stock the children's version, the little sister and brother of crisscross apron pattern. So that's December 1st, shop closed, private time in the shop with Lynn, absolutely no distractions. So super opportunity for those who get to take advantage of it. And then on Saturday, December 7th is our first annual ornament swap. This is the ornament that I made for our contribution to the ornament swap. We've got some really cute ones that people have been coming in and telling me what they're making. I'm excited. Registration has closed. We closed with 16 people registered. So if you're registered and you're planning on attending, that is going to be make 16 of your ornament and you'll leave with 16 others, well, 15 others and one of yours. And if you're in the area on that day, come ooh and ah at everybody's amazing ornaments. That's on December 7th here at the shop. And then December 8th, December 8th is mobile sharpening. So that's when you can bring all of your scissors and shears, pinking shears, and Rick from Absolute Edge will come and sharpen them either while you shop, or you can drop them off ahead of time and he'll sharpen them while he's here, and you can pick them up from us at a later time. So there's mobile scissor sharpening on December 8th. And then on Thursday, December 12th, no open sew that day. Thursday, December 12th will be our next round of 12 months of gifts, which is a class we've held year round to make projects that are finished in the 3 hours that you're here with us and are reproducible for gifting purposes. This month, we are going to make this bag. It kind of structures itself like a t-shirt bag, which is what you get when you go to the grocery store or big box stores, those plastic t-shirt bags. And actually a plastic t-shirt bag is what we use for the template for this. It's lined, so 2 coordinating fabrics. If one of them is directional like this, it's 5/8 of a yard for the outside and 1/2 a yard for the inside. If they're not directional, then a 1/2 a yard of each. We'll make this up for you. The class includes instruction and making one of these, and the fabrics would be less than $15 to purchase here, and you get 10% off on all class day purchases. So that's our next 12 months of gifts happening December 12th. What do we got going on? Mini project. Let's see. I enjoy seeing the fabric. And I now know that Raymond is actually Carol. See, I'm learning all these people where they log into YouTube and who they are. So hi, Carol. I hope you're having a great night. All right, that's 12 months of gifts. And then I have one more thing to show you here before we do the mini project that everybody's talking about. And that is that, oh, yep. So we have been playing with the upholstery samples. Thank you. Couldn't find the word. With the upholstery samples that were brought into us and figuring out new and different patterns with them. This one, we're actually pre-recorded a tutorial on this particular bag, which is lined with something that coordinates, or it could be something that doesn't coordinate. And it's a really fun, quick and easy bag to put together. Izzy helped me record the tutorial, and she's going to do some video editing for us, and we'll get that posted on our YouTube channel. And then folks will be able to come in and get upholstery samples and fat quarters and zippers that match, and then go watch that pre-recorded tutorial. This is a little bit longer than the projects we normally do in our weekly lives, but we still wanted to share the fun with people. And we actually designed this pattern here, and we designed it with French seams inside so that the inside of your bag is just as nice and finished as the outside. Great little project bag, pencil pouch, and depending on the size of your zipper and the size of your upholstery sample, this is a very variable project. There's lots of opportunity to change that around. Did the chat freeze? Oh, nope. We've got a new one. Hello from Lakeville. Hi, Claire from Lakeville, Mass. Welcome. So yeah, we've written up a written tutorial for the upcycled upholstery sample zipper pouch. And we'll get that pre-recorded tutorial posted as soon as Izzy finishes editing. And the one last thing, yes, is the Quilts of Valor event. Yes, Aunt Ellen is keeping me on track. She's awesome. I don't know how she manages to keep track of all the chat, all the cameras, everything I'm doing and supposed to be doing. So this little card here is a representation. Oh yeah, this little card here is a representation of some of the quilt patterns that Villa Rosa Designs makes to help us make quilts for Quilts of Valor. And Quilts of Valor is a really wonderful organization who gives quilts to veterans. And we have connected with Tina at the VA, and she has reserved space for us from the 28th to the 30th of March next year. It's like a little mini retreat. You get to come and set up on Friday and break down on Sunday. So you get to stay that whole time, quilt to your wilt, but for a really good cause. Veterans, they're so near and dear to my heart. We announced this in a newsletter on Veterans Day, and we're still working on the details. But Ann Blackburn and Tina Kabaka and I met on Monday and had lunch and brainstormed and popcorned and talked so excitedly about all of the things we want for this event. Our plan is to keep registration for this event free by connecting with other corporate sponsors to help us cover the costs of making it really wonderful. So we're looking for folks to help us with food for the folks who attend. We're looking for donations from corporations who might be willing to help us buy fabric to make the quilts. We're looking for long armers who will be willing to help Darren make the quilts into quilts after the tops are made. And then we're going to have a secondary event where we have folks come back and help us get all those quilts bound. We've figured out that we're going to limit the number of sewers to 50, just to keep the space sane and not so crowded. We want people to have room to breathe while they're making the quilts for veterans. So 50 sewers, but we're going to also open it up to 50 helpers. And helpers can be folks who come and sit with a sewer and press seams while they keep sewing. They can be people who are willing to help rotary cut and get kits ready. They can be people who are willing to help bring coffee and water to the sewers so they can just keep going. Lots of opportunities. It's going to be at the VA in White River Junction, Vermont. And they're so excited that Quilts of Valor is coming into their space to create. So we're excited about that too. We've connected with the Vermont chapter and we're working to connect with the New Hampshire chapter to get all of the language right and make sure that we're doing this the way Quilts of Valor wants us to do it. But we've reserved the space and started the process of getting details. So registration for this will be open for sewers and helpers. There'll be 2 separate registrations. That'll be open by the end of this week. We will have a wait list available. So if we get past those 50 sewers or 50 helpers and someone can't make it, they can let us know and then we'll start working through the wait list. We're just really, really excited about this event. So these are some of the patterns that we'll have that day. We're also going to print out patterns from the Quilts of Valor website and all of the requirements. And we'll keep sharing details as we get them in the course of time before the event happens in March. Oh, yes. So we're going to hopefully have kits from donated fabric, either from our vendors or from people in the community who want to donate fabric. We're going to have lots of opportunities for folks to participate, for sure. All right. So I think it's time. Is it time? It's time for that thing everybody has been chatting about the whole time. It is time to do the tutorial, the mini project. Let's start with overhead. If we're already there, then that's great. Not yet. That usually happens after the demo. Darren wanted to make sure we hadn't forgotten the quilt of the week. We have not. In fact, it's behind me. It would be hard to forget this week. It's a big one, so we had to hang it. All right, so we are going to, together, make an iron cord keeper. It could be for any other appliance too that has a cord that gets unruly, right? You know, that's all over the place. And then we do this thing where we try to get it all wrangled up, and then we try to stuff it through here and hope that it stays. So we are going to teach you this cord keeper, and you get your cord right there. And this one's actually designed to be big enough to go around the iron handle and the cord so that it keeps it all together like that. And yeah, these fabric choices for the tutorial, Kristen, are from a layer cake that we had in the back of a box somewhere, and we pulled it out to do 3 different things this week. We used it in our In the Hoop class samples for 12 months of gifts last week, and now we're using it again for this. It's a really fun layer cake, but I have no idea what it was from. There was no label on it anymore. It was just in the back of a box, and we pulled it out to give it new life. But it is super cute for sure. Claremont was chosen to participate in the moving wall this upcoming summer. Donna, you're going to have to tell me more about that for sure. So in order to make this iron cord keeper, you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric that are 4 inches by 10 inches. Since it was a layer cake, I kind of use that as a convenient measurement. I think you could play with this and do it in lots of different sizes depending on how big the cord you're trying to wrap is and what you were trying to wrangle. So definitely some versatility. And then the same size as your 2 fabric pieces of either batting or fusible fleece or some other interfacing. We always have scrap batting from the long arm room, so I chose batting for the ones that we made. And 2 pieces that have both sides of a hook and loop closure, otherwise known as Velcro sometimes, but you know, they get picky about their trade names. So the hook and loop 3-inch, 2 3/4 to 3-inch, 2 sets of those. So those are your materials. And what you're going to do with those materials is start by laying one of the fabrics right side up with the interfacing. If it's feasible, use it before you stitch on the Velcro. If it's not feasible, kind of use the stitching of the Velcro to create the connection between that fabric and your closure. And then I zigzagged around the pieces of hook and loop closure, and you want them to be attached about 1 inch above the bottom and about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch in from the sides. And I'm going to do one of these with you on the sewing machine because there's a little trick I use when I'm zigzagging around something that I think is worth sharing. So I'm going to take this fabric here, lay it with that. Yeah, I think we should switch right over to the sewing. All right. Aunt Ellen's getting so good at switching cameras, isn't she? All right, so I've got one of the pieces of my hook and loop closure, and you notice I didn't measure. I'm just kind of throwing it on there, you know, making sure it's somewhat even and lined up. This is an ish project. That's a word we use here a lot when projects have wiggle room in how they're put together. I'm going to set my machine to a zigzag. I've got a 1.4 length and 3.5 width, which is kind of the standard that the machine loads in with. When I put my presser foot down, I'm going to line up the center of my presser foot, making sure you're on a zigzag presser foot, not something that only has a center hole because you'll break your needle first stitch. So whenever you change presser feet or change stitches, it's a good idea to have that mental check moment of what stitch am I set to and where's my needle before you go zoom zoom and break the needle. So, or go zoom zoom and break a fingernail. Yeah, that's how that happened. So I'm setting it up at the center of that zigzag foot so that when my needle goes down, it'll be on the outside of the hook and loop when it goes down on one side and the inside on the other side. And we're going to go a little in, a little back stitch, and then down to the corner. And the little trick I use when I'm zigzagging things or securing things with a zigzag stitch is when I stop to turn my project, I make sure that my needle is in the down position on the outside of what I'm attaching. So I've got my needle on the right side right now where it's outside of my hook and loop. And that way when I spin my 90 degrees and start sewing again, my needle, when it goes to its next position, is going to be on the thing that I'm working to secure. So when I get to the corner, I always make sure that my needle for a zigzag is on the outside of what I'm working to secure on there. So we'll go all the way around this to secure it. And you want this to be really secure because if it's not, then when you go to undo your iron cord keeper or whatever cord you're trying to wrangle, the hook and loop closure is going to come off instead of the, so there we go. That's my little trick with zigzag feet. So you're going to attach, I think we can go back over to overhead here. We're going to attach those hook and loop closures to one fabric on one end and the other fabric on the other end. And this is the one that has the interfacing and this is the one that doesn't. So batting or interfacing, no batting, no interfacing, just the fabric. And we want them at opposite ends before we flip them right sides together. So we're going to flip those right sides together. And then you're going to top stitch all the way around. I'm trying to find the right step. Here we go. You're going to top stitch all the way around except leave an opening for turning. And you can see my top stitching is not perfect. It doesn't have to be. This is still going to work. So be kind to yourself while you are doing this. And yeah, well, it's okay. It's okay. So before you flip it, you're going to clip your corners. So that's a diagonal little snip across the corners. Don't snip your stitches, just snip across the corner. And that decreases the bulk in the corner for when you turn the project right side out, and you'll get a crisper point when you turn it right side out from there. So that's a stitching almost all the way around, leaving that opening there for turning. And then once you turn it, Susan, no worries about being late. Oh my goodness. Nobody apologize for being late. This is not something you have to be on time for. We love it when people are here with us, but you know, it's okay. We understand life happens. Sometimes I feel like I'm about to be late to our broadcast. So absolutely no worries there. So once you've turned that right side out using a turning tool or a knitting needle or a crochet hook or a chopstick, whatever it is that you use for a turning tool, maybe that can be a question one week. What do you use for a turning tool? Chopstick. Chop, not lip chapstick. No, chopstick, like nom 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 with the, yeah, okay. There we go. And if you're joining us late, like Susan said, she's so sorry she's late. Susan, no worries. The question of the week for your chance to win the sample that we've made this week is, what is your favorite part of our weekly live broadcast? And Darren's keeping track of wheel and names, as long as he hasn't fallen asleep. Yep, he's still there. He's good. All right. So once you've top stitched around, you've accomplished two things. You've secured all that interfacing, you've created a pretty little top stitch, but you've also sealed the hole that you left for turning in the last step. And you'll see that now you've got Velcro over here and Velcro over here. And that is what makes it so that when you go like this around your cord, the Velcro will talk to each other. The other cool thing about this particular hook and loop or Velcro closure placement is it makes this reversible. So you can close it in either direction. So that's fun. And then the last step, oh, I did have one that was turned but not top stitched. Should I show them how to top stitch? People know how to top stitch. Well, let's do it. What the heck, right? Why not? We can't say what grandfather used to say on live. I think we get kicked off YouTube. All right, so for the top stitching, that's right, I did want to show the top stitching because I wanted to share my little corner trick. All right, so for top stitching, I usually just set it to the inside of my zigzag foot to get a nice close top stitch. And are we back over on this one? Okay, perfect. You're so awesome. And you just go zoom zoom and along to the corner. And then you want to get pretty close to the corner before you turn, which sometimes when you rotate, you'll end up going chug, chug, chug in the same place. And that's because your presser foot, when you put your presser foot down, is at an angle because it's up on that bulkiness. So there are two things that you can do when you've got it up on an angle like that. One is to have a finger. Everybody's got one. Put your finger behind and then lower your presser foot, but keep your finger there. It'll keep the presser foot at enough of an angle to keep it moving just until you're off that bulky corner and can zoom away again. Or if your fingers aren't, that doesn't feel safe to you, which, for some people it shouldn't, they make this little tool called a seam jumper, which has two U-shaped openings and a thicker and a thinner side. Because this isn't super bulky, I'm going to use the thinner side of it. And you slide it in behind your presser foot like this. And then when you put your presser foot down, it keeps your presser foot level. And that's what gets you zooming around without chug chug in one spot and getting stuck. This also, the seam jumper or hump jumper as some call it, is also really great when you're doing bulky seams like in bags or when you've just got a whole bunch of layers of fabric that are kind of converging in one spot. What's that? Oh, hemming blue jeans. Yes. So either a little finger back there or the seam jumper. Wonderful little tool. So once you are top stitched, the last thing that I did to make sure that that hook and loop closure was going to stay put is sort of right in the middle of my zigzag. I just did a straight stitch around the box of that hook and loop to give it one more reason to stay put when we pull on it, to take it apart. Oh, and the other thing that I forgot to mention, little thing that can go wrong in making something like this, when you're putting the hook and loop closures onto your fabric, do that double check moment where you make sure that the two that you're putting over here are the fuzzy, and the two that you're putting over here are the rough. Oh, so make sure that the sets you're putting on, so like this is soft, and this is the scrapey, and the two that are there are the same kinds on each fabric. So it's not a hook and loop and a hook and loop. It's a hook and a hook and a loop and a loop. So just take the time to make sure that those are in the same place before you go through the trouble of putting it all together to find out that your hook and loop closure is loop and loop and it doesn't want to connect. So, so I just went around all four sides of all four pieces of closure to make the final one, which has, so you can see the little boxes and then the little boxes. And lots of cords you can wrangle with that. So that is the tutorial, the seam jumper. Oh, it's so fun. Donna, the seam jumper has saved me many a fingers. I always used to use my finger back there. And sometimes if I'm not going to say lazy, sometimes if I'm feeling very efficient, I forget to bring my seam jumper over and with me to the machine, and then I'll use my finger again, but I really shouldn't. It's actually much safer to have something like this. Oh. Oh, yes. So Jean, that is a fabulous idea. So you could make these to go around you could make these to go around the tubes of interfacing if you are a machine embroidery person and you've got all of those things of interfacing. I think we can go back up here because I'm done there. And you know, if you have an embroidery machine, which is why you would have all of those tubes of interfacing, you could also, before you put them together, embroider the word right here of what kind of stabilizer it was, right? You could put water soluble and tear away and cut away. You could put all of those things onto these and you could make your own stabilizer labels. Absolutely. That's brilliant. I love our community. It's so awesome. All right. And that brings us to Quilt of the Week, right? What else is going on here? Cool tool. Oh, okay. So they can't always hear you in the background, so I have to repeat what you said, even though that feels rude. So Ellen was just pointing out Donna's comment or idea about if you are having difficulty with the hook side of the hook and loop closure, if your machine is battling with it and you're not winning, you can put a little bit of water soluble stabilizer over and then rinse it off later. I keep looking over here because I'm trying to learn how to be more interactive with the comments because I love the community interaction. That's one of my favorite parts of our YouTube broadcast. All right, so Quilt of the Week. This beautiful, big, beautiful quilt is our Quilt of the Week. We've lost one of the hooks. And Darren actually put up the quilt rack for me because this is so much taller than me. There's no way I was going to be able to hold it up and drape it over the machine, and things were going to go flying, and it was going to be a whole thing. So this is the Quilt of Week. This is actually a beginner quilter. This is the first quilt that she's made, and she's just kind of had so much fun putting the rows together that she kept going, and going, and going. And so it is this wide, but it's almost 120 inches long. It's just a wonderful, but it's such happy spring colors and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So when she comes to pick up her first quilt, you'll get to enjoy the Quilt of the Week discount. And then she chose to back it in kind of an ombre. I don't know how much of that detail you'll be able to see, but it goes from very light, almost a cream on cream, down to more of a pattern, more color from the flower girl line. So it's really quite beautiful and interesting on both sides. And Darren just thought it was so unique. It's so long and so wonderful. That's our Quilt of the Week for this week. It is a warm, sunny quilt. Absolutely, Lynn. And we love that people keep bringing quilts in to keep Papa busy. We've got to keep him busy. You know, I put the work order somewhere. It's here in the studio with me, but I don't know where. We'll find it before we put it back out front. Okay. And then I think our last little thing, we'll check to see if there's any comments. And warm sunny quilt wonderfulness. Okay. So then it is just our $10 gift card winner for folks who pay with cash or check during the week here at the shop. And our sample winner. So Papa, get Wheel of Names ready. All right, he's getting that ready. I'm reaching in here. And our winner for this week's $10 gift card is Dee Dee Mackey. I know. So Dee Dee was just in today, and she's known me since I was 13 years old. And Jean was able to revive a sewing machine she's had since she was 24. She was really excited to pick it up, and she also got some fabric, even though she said she's not supposed to be adding to her stash. So Dee Dee, you'll have $10 waiting for you the next time you come in. We are keeping these by the register so that when people come in, if we see their names on the ticket, we hand it over to them and let them know that they've won the $10. If you're from long distance and you've won one of these and you haven't got our phone message or don't know that you have one, we're working on creating a system where we actually create an official coupon in the system where people can use it to order online. So coming soon to Golden Anchor Quilting, a higher technological response to these drawings that we do. Oh, and Darren forgot to remind me that he wants everybody to know that he has finished like somewhere between 15 and 30 quilts in the last, I forget what count, where was our count for the last 2 weeks? We've been staying until like 9 or 10 at night, almost every night. And he's up to about 20 quilts in the last 2 weeks. And a few have been picked up, but there's quite a few just sitting there on the shelf waiting. So if you have a quilt checked in with us, check your email, see if you've got that notification, because they're coming off as fast as he can. And we're staying late to make sure that we get all the Christmas and holiday quilts done, but we're also sprinkling in the ones that people said no rush to make sure. So there's this beautiful dance going on in the long arm room with Darren and his two lists, his dueling lists of quilts where he's trying to get holiday quilts done in time and also the regular stuff that's checked in. And our Wheel of Names. So the Wheel of Names will tell us who gets the iron cord keeper that we made. Kristen S. Congratulations, Kristen. Let us know either in the chat or by calling the shop how we can get this to you, or when you'll be in next, and you'll get to, she was the one who liked the fabric too. That's awesome. That's awesome. And Kristen, if you like one of the other ones that we started in the process of making the sample, when you come in, let me know. I'll just finish that one up for you, and you can have the one with the fabrics you like the most. They don't take that long at all. So I think we've come to that part of the night where I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, Darren's heart, Aunt Ellen's heart, Geneva's heart, Jean's heart,